Hey everyone, Kayla here, and today I wanted to go over one of the questions that was posed in regards to running faster off of the bike. And I kind of answered it in the questionnaire with a brief question. However, I wanted to go over it a little bit more in detail here for you guys, because there are a lot of pieces that involve running faster off of the bike. It's more than just running faster, though that's a piece I will mention. So here are my tips for running to improve your running in triathlon. And you guys, this is one of the reasons a coach is really useful, because they really can help walk you through these things. They can help build these programs that allow you to run faster with the bike and work with these pieces. But what we're going to talk about today is my few tips to improve running in triathlon, i.e. running off of the bike. And this comes from a couple of different things. One is increase your bike cadence, or i.e. just focus on your bike cadence. Focus on fueling and hydration on the bike, running faster, and consistency in your training, and strength and mobility, and lastly, run form. So there's 6 of them that we're going to kind of touch on. Some I will touch on a little bit more than others, but we're going to touch on these 6 of them. And we're going to start with bike cadence. So this is something that a lot of people don't necessarily think about when it comes to triathlon. Really, your run is determined and dictated by how your bike goes. And this is from the pacing that you hold on the bike, the fueling that you hold on the bike, your run cadence or your bike cadence. And so it's very much a big piece of it. And so you have to ensure that you have really good bike fitness, because if you have more bike fitness, then you're going to come off the bike feeling fresher. So that's where this consistency piece comes in, and we'll talk about in a few minutes. But we're going to focus on bike cadence. So cadence, what this is cadence is the rate in which you pedal your bike. Fairly self-explanatory. So it's the rate in which you pedal your bike, or you can also think of it as the number of pedal revolutions, or RPMs. So a lot of times if your coach has you do cadence work, what you'll see is they'll put in RPMs and they want you to hit these specific RPMs. That's what they're talking about. So there is no magical cadence number that is best for specific. Every athlete is different, and so it is something that you kind of have to work for. So, for example, my number is somewhere in that 85 to 90 range, whereas another athlete may have a number that is like 95, much higher. So you really have to kind of try to work and figure out what that magic number is for you. So why is it that we stress cadence on the bike? Well, what happens on the bike is with your cadence, depending on whether you do low RPMs or you do higher RPMs, can activate different systems in your body. So when you use a low RPM, so you're probably closer, maybe you're in that 50 to 60, or honestly even in that, that 60, 70 range of RPMs on the bike. What this usually means is that you probably have to be in a lower and harder gear to push more power in order to match your power output and to get your speed. What this is doing is this is activating slow twitch muscles, and you're using more of your muscular system. Well, your muscular system burns out a lot faster than your other systems. And so you're going to be burning out this system that you then technically have to use again for either a 13.1 or a 26.2 mile run. So it's more taxing to ride in a lower RPM setting compared to a higher RPM setting, 80, 85, 90, even 95, which means that you probably have to be in a easier gear. You're going to utilize more of your aerobic system and your cardiovascular system. This is a much bigger system, and it's also much more efficient than your muscular system is. And also, most importantly, it recovers a lot quicker than your muscular system does. So what it kind of does is, by learning to ride at a higher cadence, you are using a different system. You're using more of your aerobic and cardiovascular system than you are your muscular system, and then you're saving your muscular system for the run. What this also kind of does is it helps to save muscle glycogen for the run because you're not burning off as much of your muscular glycogen that you already have stored. This helps you run faster off the bike because, one, your legs are going to be a little bit more fresh from a muscular standpoint, as well as they're going to last longer because you haven't burnt that system out, as well as on top of that, you may not bonk as quickly because you have more muscle glycogen storage. So that is why increasing your cadence on the bike can be very helpful. Now, again, this is not a magic solution. Not everyone does this work well, but I highly recommend practicing it, trying it. I will say from experience, 2 years ago or more in that area, I was that person who was, I think I rode like 70 to 75. And when I trained myself to ride now, which I do, at 85 to 90, when I finally got used to it, I can attest to how much easier and faster I was able to run off the bike. It worked for me. So definitely worth something trying if you're wanting to try to figure out how to run a little faster off the bike. So that's cadence, and that's tip number 1. Also, tip number 2. Focus on fueling and hydrating on the bike. If you do not nail or come close to nailing your nutrition, your hydration, and your calorie count on the bike, excuse me, you will run out of energy for the run and your run will blow up. You cannot play catch up in triathlon. So this starts from your breakfast in the morning. If you don't eat a good breakfast in the morning, you're already going to be behind on calories by the time you get into the swim. And then by the time you get on the bike, you're going to be even further behind. And it's really hard to play catch up because you're burning on top of that. So it does not matter how strong of a runner you are. If you do not nail your fueling and your hydration on the bike, you will run out of energy because you don't have enough glycogen storage. You don't have enough food replenishment. It's just, you cannot play catch up fast enough. You can't consume enough calories. We never consume as many calories as we are actually burning. So we have to really focus on it. So again, everybody's nutrition plan is different, and that's a completely different discussion, but you want to aim for somewhere around 60 to 90 grams of carbs an hour on the bike, total of 200 to 350 calories an hour, and around 20 to 28 ounces of water an hour. Again, those are huge ranges that are very specific to you as an athlete. So that was tip number 2. Tip number 3, run faster. Sounds harsh, sounds blunt, but it's true. You want to learn to run faster, you need to practice running faster. You will not get faster in running just by staying in your comfort zone and going out and running. You may at the very start of your journey, like if you've never done it before, but if you are a seasoned veteran, you've been doing this for a couple years, you've got a couple races on your belt, a couple years of training on your belt, you will not get faster if you just go out and run. You have to get outside your comfort zone. You have to push yourself to reach a new goal pace. You have to push yourself to try to run that new goal pace. And you have to spend time at that goal pace. Or once you get in a race, your body's not going to know what to do. It's not going to be used to it, and it's not going to know how to handle it. By spending time running at that faster pace, you're teaching your body how to handle it, and you're teaching your mind how to handle it as well. Again, this does not mean you do this all the time. It does not mean you do it in every single workout. But when you have speed workouts, don't just necessarily maintain that quote unquote goal pace. Maybe push yourself. So if you're training for an Ironman, your pace for an Ironman is going to be way different. Say your pace for an Ironman, your goal pace is 9-minute miles. But your pace for a half Ironman is 8:45s. Well, in your Ironman workouts, in some of them, maybe do your intervals at 8:45. Try to stretch that boundary just a little bit to go a little faster. So for example, a good workout example for this one would be warm up. We're going to do 400s. So warm up for your 10 to 15 minutes, and then say you're programmed to do 8 by 400 on 400 easy recovery. Well, rather than doing every single one of those 400s on like that 9:05 pace, which may still be a really fast pace for you and is your goal pace, shoot for trying to do them on 8:50. Push that boundary just a little bit to get faster. You have to run faster to get faster. Again, I am very much specifying not every single run. Don't do your recovery runs at your goal Ironman pace just because I'm telling you to run faster. That's tip number 3. Tip number 4, very similar, but it has very specifically to do with running off of the bike. So a lot of times I will have my athletes run fast off the bike. Like run like you stole something, run like somebody's chasing you, like a bat out of hell, whatever you want to say, fast as you can for 5-10 minutes off the bike. No warm up, hop off the bike, get your ass moving. So this is tip number 4, is speed off of the bike. What this is getting at is practicing running faster off of the bike. So this does 2 things. 1, it gets your body used to running fast off the bike. And 2, it helps your body to adapt to having that quick cadence needed to be speedy off the bike. And then what you do is you back it off and you go into an aerobic effort off of the bike or for the rest of the run. These little bouts of speed, the biggest point of them are 1, to remind yourself and show yourself that you can do it. Also, the other pace, your aerobic pace, is going to feel easier. Basically what you're trying to do is make that pace feel easy. So, excuse me, do these practices. Take some of these brick workouts that you're doing, and instead of just always doing, maybe a 30-minute run off the bike, maybe you do 10 minutes fast off the bike and then you settle in for the next 20 minutes. Practice running fast off the bike. Teach your body to get uncomfortable. Teach your body to have quick cadence off the bike. The more you practice it, the easier it comes on race day because your body is going to be conditioned for it. That is why we train. We train so that our body is conditioned for something on race day. So that was tip number 4. Tip number 5 is consistency. This has to do with all aspects of triathlon and in reality, all aspects of life. Small runs add up. So it may seem silly to only run for 15 to 25 minutes off a bike. You think, 15 to 25 minutes, that's only like 2 miles. What does that really matter? But those small runs here and there can really add up. You do 2 miles here off the bike. You do 2 miles here off the bike. Maybe you do 3 miles here off the bike. Next thing you know, you've just added on an additional 10 miles to your week without beating up your legs. It allows your body to get used to riding off of the bike, and it can help you to build stamina and resilience, which can be very key for later on in the middle of the run. On top of that, consistency really just has to do with the fact that you don't miss your workouts. Don't skip workouts just because, once again, don't go, I'm just going to skip that 15-minute run off the bike because it's only 15 minutes. They add up. The consistency allows your body to become more adapted, allows your body to become stronger, and then what that results in becoming more confident. You will get faster if you are more confident. If you are confident in yourself and you can believe that you can hold on to that pace, then you will. I can't tell you how many times people go, how do you run so fast in a marathon, in an Ironman? And my number one answer is because I 100% believe that I can do it. I know that I've done it in the past. I know that I've done it in training. I believe I can hold on to this because I've done it in training. So the more confident you are, and that comes with consistency, and that comes with going out and doing it. So get out there and do it. Okay, tip number 5. Strength and mobility. It's really easy to forget about strength and mobility. A lot of times we're out there and we're putting in our 15 hours of triathlon training, swim, bike, and run a week, and we have a family and we have work and we have to try to find somewhere to sleep and make dinner. And so strength training definitely falls to the wayside. However, it's very important, especially in all aspects, but in running, strength training can be very important because running is power. Running fast comes from power. Where does power come from? Power comes from your muscles. How do you get more power? Build bigger muscles. And so you have to strength train. And this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out there and go to the gym for 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day. It can just be 1 or 2, 3 sessions a week. And really they can be 15, 20 minutes long. Especially if you're really focusing on hip mechanics, especially in your hips. So this is mechanics such as, doing bridges, doing a lot of exercises with resistance bands. I have a set of workouts that I give, and I've included them in this file. So you guys will have them because I'm going to load this file. It's these glute exercises, and they're basically glute activation exercises. And so they help to activate your stabilizer muscles in your hips and in your glutes. And those muscles are very important for being able to run faster, because those are the tiny muscles that sometimes get hidden by the bigger ones. On top of that, it really helps to increase our mobility. Mobility is very important when it comes to triathlon because it's, honestly, anything. If you think about it, mobility, you have to be down an arrow, so your hips need to be mobile, your back needs to be mobile. Running, all of our power comes from our hips, so the more flexible and the more mobile we are in our hips, the more range of motion that we have, and the accurate range of motion. So focusing on strength and mobility is another really important piece, as it really allows us to hone in and focus on those pieces. That's also a much longer conversation. Okay, last one. Run form. So run form, it's one of those things, it's just like in swimming, technique. And this, by having good run form, will help increase your power. And most importantly, it's going to prevent you from injury. So what you want to do is really focus on ensuring that you are running forward. And that's a lot of times when people have poor run form, they are actually, a lot of times we run side to side, we run too far out. What you're doing is you're not directing your energy forward. That age-old saying that energy goes where energy flows, I think that's right. Your energy is going to go where you're putting it out. So if you're running like this, where is my energy going? Well, it's going that way, and then it's going that way, and then it's going that way. Whereas if you're running with your arms and hands pushing and pulling directly out in front of you, going forward, what I'm doing, I'm putting all my energy forward. Same with my knees, same with my hips. You want your run form to dictate where you're going. And so run form is very important because it can help us to push our energy where it needs to go. It can also help us run more economically, so it can save energy. On top of that, lastly, is very important, it can help prevent injury. We've got tons of people who are overstriders, and so then that tends to make it so that that's where you risk stress fractures and hip injuries, back injuries. We hold a lot of tension in our shoulders while we're running, and that gives us headaches, and that once again doesn't allow energy to be moving forward. Run form and run mechanics in my opinion, has a lot to do with where our energy is being directed when we're running. And when we're trying to run faster, we want our energy to direct forward because that's where we're trying to go. Finish line is forward. Finish line is not off to the side and it's not behind us. We want to go forward. And so the more energy we can place forward, the faster we're going to go. And if we can do that economically, again, the faster we're going to go. I have a good video on run form that I will post. I think I've posted it in the past, but I'll post it again to help kind of give you guys a good idea. So those are my 6 tips to improving your running off the bike in triathlon. I hope this helps you guys. And I'm going to sit here for a couple seconds to see if you guys have any questions on any of this. So I shall wait for a minute. And again, I'll post this. I'll post this for you guys. No questions? I always feel funny just sitting here, but I want to give you guys a second to try to type if you need to. Awesome. Well, I hope this was helpful. It will be saved on here so if you missed a bunch of it, don't feel bad. It'll be here for you. And then, yeah, I hope this helps you guys feel a little more confident in running faster off the bike. And if you do have any questions, feel free to comment below and we can get back to them and answer them. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a wonderful Wednesday. Yep, Wednesday. And yeah, I'll chat with all you guys later. So see you guys.